All righty, and I got a game for you, bro.
All right, hit me.
All right, we're gonna play start, bench, cut, and we're gonna go Mookie Betts,
Oh man.
Juan Soto, Jackson Holliday. What do you got?
Start Mookie, bench Juan, cut Jackson. This is why. Okay, Mookie is the best all-around player. Okay, Juan Soto is a very good player, but Mookie's got him beat in the overall category. Jackson Holliday. I love Jackson Holliday. Huge fan. I love the adjustments he's made, but he just doesn't have a long enough track record in the MLB. So those are my reasonings. What about you?
Oh man, no, I think I'm right there with you, man. I'm a huge Mookie fan, mostly for arm path reasons. I love the way he throws, and I try to get a lot of my guys to
Yeah.
emulate his delivery and
Mm-hmm.
just the versatility of what he's able to do on all aspects of the field. It's just
Yeah.
amazing. But
Yeah.
but yeah, there's a lot of hype going around with Jackson Holiday right now, man.
Yeah, dude.
Did you get a chance to read that article that they put on our table?
Yeah, so I looked at the article, and then I also had a chance to see some behind the scenes stuff with Jackson, which is pretty cool as well. Um, but dude, the adjustments he made, they're super simple, right? But they've made all the difference in the world. It's crazy how like some of the best athletes in the world, when they just like make themselves do a little bit less, they're just way better. And that's actually the case with anybody. Do you ever see that with pitchers? Like some guys are just trying to do too much, and you end up like calming them down a little bit, and they're a lot more efficient.
Yeah, bro. It's I'm reading through this book right now. It's called The Mental ABCs of Pitching, and
Mhm.
the author talks about um, well, he talks about a lot of really good stuff. I highly recommend that whole series, but I think the main thing that I am seeing right now is just paralysis by analysis. And if you're going too much in the brain, you're probably not going to perform well. So keeping
Mhm.
it simple, having a process, and sometimes it's just putting up a high T that's makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. In baseball, the less you think, the better you do. Usually the smartest guys in baseball don't make it. It's crazy. Some of the best hitters I know, not the brightest guys, because they have short term memory and they could just wipe the failure and just go, and they're not like afraid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree, man. And I kind of wish I had dumbed down the game a little bit. I had a pitcher when I was younger, just a guy who was kind of mentoring me. He told me that I needed to be dumb as a box of rocks. And I always wanted to be dumb as a box of rocks, but then I would think about being dumb as a box of rocks and that would spin me down a spiral, bro.
Yeah.
It was terrible, man.
Yeah. Because I've always, people have been like, Ian, don't think. Okay, now I'm thinking about not thinking. Now, how do I get myself to not think about not thinking? And then I just get in this loop. I'm like, okay, I'm stuck.
Yeah, dude. So I know you do like hitting breakdowns and stuff. Like,
Mhm.
what were the I know like from the article, it seemed like there were some pretty simple adjustments that Jackson Holiday was making, but
Mhm.
did you get a chance to like do any like side by side analysis of him?
Yeah. So, I'll be completely honest. I didn't do much side by side analysis, but I watched so many swings that they're like imprinted in the back of my head. And I just saw like one of his swings and I know all the difference that he made. So he's a little bit more spread out. His feet, he's more like shoulder width apart. He was a lot more narrow before and had a lot higher leg kick. So
Mm,
he's less than that. Also, when he picked up his leg before, his hip line would be like this, like really like a pitcher. Oh wow,
interesting. So he
yeah,
like,
it was too much. It was too much. And typically with hitters, when your belt line is flat, your hips load better. So when decreasing his leg kick, he basically loaded his lower half a bit better. Basically, he was like closer to the position that he needed to be to swing in a stance already. Before he was starting off a lot further away from it. And his hitting coach, Ryan Fuller, is like, we got to condense, like up here, time is really condensed. And you need to buy yourself milliseconds. So if you're off a millisecond, it's just going to exacerbate its way through the whole process and end up being a lot worse. So they're trying to buy him as much time as possible. And by doing that, they just basically preset him a little bit and lowered the leg kick.
oh man, that makes perfect sense. And honestly, like that tilt that you're um, addressing for
Mm-hmm.
pitchers, like that's something that a lot of guys take too far to the extreme, and it throws off their timing in the exact same way. Like a lot of guys will try to hyper or like just over exaggerate that movement, and then wind up
Mm-hmm.
like diving out in front and counteracting that
Yeah.
movement. So
Yeah.
I'm a huge like train the opposite. So like
Yeah.
if you're getting too extreme, I almost want guys like falling down the mound. So a big thing I've been telling guys recently is like talking about their stride length and trying to
Mm-hmm.
get them to like show me how far their feet spread out. And then I have them get to that position. And then I draw a line right in the center of where their center of mass is at.
Mhm.
And I just have it go perpendicular to where their feet are. And then I tell them that's your stride length now. And they get all confused because it's like half the distance. So it's like a 3-foot stride and they try a throw and it's just awkward. But then I tell them, all right, now take your center of mass through that window and don't worry about your feet. And that just makes so much, it simplifies things so much more to
Yeah.
where they're not like worrying about their hip tilt or anything. They're just getting into that position and it seems to be working a
Yeah.
lot better. I kind of resonated with this article because it seemed like that's more of what they're trying to control is that
Yeah.
center of mass timing.
You know who this really reminds me of, and this is like completely off topic, but he's a pitching guy, so you might know it. Bruce Dargatterall. Did I say that name right?
Yeah,
His
Bruce
stride
Starr.
is like Bruce is like that big, right? He
Yeah.
goes like 100 miles an hour. I don't number one, I don't understand how that works. Can you kind of like break that down? Like, why is that guy so efficient? And also, does that have anything to do with his injuries? Do you think?
Yeah, so I definitely did a lot of research on Bruce Starr because all of my guys, as soon as he started being good, and as soon as he started like making that huge velo jump, like everyone wanted to be like him. And the biggest thing that I saw with his velocity increase was just he put on a ton of weight. Like that dude like went from like a child to a man child like
Mhm.
overnight, and that dude like his back is like massive. So just
Big back.
his big back, man, like all posterior, like glutes, back, everything. So the biggest thing that he has in his corner is just brute strength. So
Hmm.
he can just throw the heck out of the ball. But I compare him and like Jacob DeGrom sometimes. Like they're two ends of a spectrum that not everyone can try to replicate. Like if you think of it like a super band, like those really thick super bands that are almost impossible to pull apart, and then you have the
Hmm.
really thin ones that you have to like really pull apart just to get them to launch. Jacob DeGrom's like a hypermobile guy or like a really flexible guy, so
Hmm.
his end ranges are a lot further than a Bruce Starr.
Hmm.
So guys like Bruce Starr, they can have shorter strides and be more rotational guys versus guys with long levers. They need time to like get into their end ranges, and they get like really deep into their scap retraction and stuff. So
Like
they're
a
more
Chapman.
like, yeah, exactly. Like Chapman's a prime example. But yeah, those are two ends of the spectrum. Not recommended for everyone to try to be like Bruce Starr, but yeah, that's definitely a category you can't overlook because there are guys like that. And to your point about the injuries, like I think I think he figures out what he needs to do best pretty well. So
Yeah.
I can't speak to like whether or not it's going to be healthy for him long term or not, but yeah, he does a really good job.
Yeah. It's pretty
Yeah.
sick.
What end of the spectrum do you think you would be on if you were a pitcher?
Definitely the hypermobile end. My scap retraction is like Aroldis Chapman, minus 13 miles per hour of velocity. uh, but yeah, I think I'd definitely fall into that spectrum. But dude, I think like, have you seen my layback before? I showed
Yeah.
you that picture. I gotta send it in so you guys can see it. But my hand goes well below my shoulder. It's actually disgusting. Um, but I think that like attributes to kind of the reason why I can throw so hard, but also attributes to some of my injuries as well. Because I don't think that my body should be getting into those positions.
Mm.
I don't know if it should at least. You're the pro here. Um, but yeah, I think I'm definitely on the hypermobile end.
Yeah, man. And to be honest, like every athlete's different. I've worked with some hypermobile guys that get into the wrong position really bad, but like the layback category, if you can control the end range with strength, that's kind of where it is. So like strengthening end range for you would be huge. Like
Yeah.
doing isometric stuff um, at that layback position and trying to like isolate that pattern and really strengthen the shoulder girdle. Like that's going to be huge for you, man.
Nobody's ever told me that.
Interesting. Yeah, you gotta come on over this way sometime, and we'll take a look and see if there's anything I can pass on your way, man.
I've been playing baseball for 23 years and nobody's ever told me how to control my arm better.
Really?
No,
Okay. Well,
nobody's ever said that. But it makes so much sense because when I do isometrics with like the other things,
mhm,
my body responds so well to it, so
yeah,
well. So I guess it would just make sense. It'd be the same with throwing.
bro. We're on a rabbit trail right now, but I'm gonna give you one little piece of advice, and anyone listening, this is like just free gold for you. So if you can imagine like the old school playground things, like those little like domes with the like the handlebars that you can climb up and down. Can you imagine that right now?
Mhm.
Okay, so if you think about that position and you stand like just beneath the apex of that,
Mhm.
so you're inside of the dome and
Mhm.
then you're at the apex. As you like step backwards, like you're here, like on top of that bar and you're pushing.
Mhm.
If you take a step back and you reach behind you, then you do your isometrics there, and then you do your isometrics back behind that. So essentially, like you're strengthening this end range, you're strengthening this end range, you're strengthening this end range, and you're just pressing forward and you're pressing backwards. So you're getting the anterior and the posterior, or internal and external of the shoulder, and
Okay.
just strengthening both aspects of that. It's that's like gold for guys who are
Wow.
hypermobile. I've done that with a few clients, and I learned that from one of my mentors.
Yeah. Dude, I appreciate that. I will start doing that tomorrow, actually. Not today, but
Yeah,
tomorrow.
send me some video. I'll let you know
Yeah.
if you're doing it right.
That
Um,
that
bro, that was a rabbit trail, man.
Yeah, dude.
Speaking of pitching and just like craziness going on, man, I live right down the street from a pretty exciting event that's about to take place tonight. So last year, like this to the date, there was like these crazy fires in Hawaii, right? Like
Mhm.
that was an insane thing. Like one of the biggest fires ever recorded, or like biggest tragedies. It was such a sad event, but essentially, like there's a team in the Western regionals right now for Little League. They're hoping to secure a title to make it their way out to to the World Series, and that team right now is just crushing it. Did you get a chance to read any of that article?
Yeah, dude, I saw that, and I think that I would at first. I just wanted to say it's beautiful how baseball can bring people together, but it's really sports because sports is just a microcosm of life, right?
Mm.
And I read where they sold out, like in that town, they had a football team, and they sold out like the next game after that, and things like that. And you can just see the town coming together around sports, and I think that's the most beautiful thing ever. And especially for them to now they're on the national stage, like about to do something pretty cool. It's really exciting for those kids, man. And I feel like they're playing for something more than just like the fun of the game, which is always good. But when you're playing for a little something extra, like a little something back home, it provides that extra bit of drive to really do something special.
Yeah, man, and just to highlight one of the athletes, I know this article was talking about Colton a little bit. I believe it's Colton Mango. Like that kid, like I think if I don't misquote me or whatever, but I believe he actually wasn't even from the same like region as the team that's currently there, so he had to bus like across the island to get to this team, and his team like completely welcomed him. And I know that he would like suffered some adversity from those fires, so it's really like a great story to get behind. And if you guys are watching and you guys are looking for someone to cheer on, I highly recommend cheering for the Hawaii team. It would be like a really cool story if
Yeah,
those guys made it all the way.
absolutely. Speaking of, um, Colton Mango is a sick baseball name.
Oh, for sure, bro.
That's a sick baseball name.
that's that's 100% gonna be on a jersey one day.
Yeah, that's
Oh
awesome.
yeah, that's Mango. If you're watching this, man, we're rooting for you.
Yeah, dude, kick some butt, bro.
Seriously,
If
man.
you guys ever need any hitting lessons or pitching help, we are here. I like hitting, Bobby likes pitching, and we like teaching it. Okay.
I mean, you're not wrong, bro. We literally spent the first half of this segment talking about it, man. Dude, all right. So if there's any content between Ian and I that you ever want to check out, we did this one breakdown of like 10 pitchers and 10 hitters, like going side
Mm,
by side. I'm going to pass that one to Henry so he can play that one on a clip. But
yeah.
dude, that is like by far my favorite video I've ever made. It took forever, but it shows such a crazy correlation between hitting and pitching.
Yeah, I think the body creates energy, and the mechanism the body uses to create energy is the same. The only difference is the time constraint. Like you guys as pitchers, you pretty much have all the time in the world. Not all the time in the world, but you take as much time as you want. Where a hitter has to be a lot more reactionary. But the
Mm,
mechanism that we use to fire and create energy is the exact same.
yeah, it's I could literally talk about this for an hour. I'm going to change the topic.
Yeah. Where's
Dude,
Kate?
bro, I know. Seriously. Where is Kate? Oh, she's all right. So I just found out that we're going to be getting some Kate throwing footage cuz she's out in
Paris.
Paris watching the Olympics, and I guess she's going to potentially do some throwing and some hitting. So we're going to be doing some swing analysis and throwing analysis of Kate, and we'll have to do a collab on that because that's going to be great content.
Yeah. She was a softball player, so I have high expectations for this. So because of this, we're really going to critique her, bro.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
We're not pulling any strings, bro. She is for sure getting like ridiculed if it's not immaculate.
Yeah. Former college athlete, baseball genius. She knows more baseball than I do, to be completely honest with you. I know a lot about hitting, but Kate might know more about baseball.
Oh, 100%. Her start bench cut would have been extremely detailed.
Yeah, and
Mine's
she'd had
just
a
like,
lot better reasons too.
oh, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I just like Mookie. She's like, well, back in 1998 when
Yeah.
he was in Little League.
Yeah, like you picked Mookie because he's like his throwing motion is sick. I picked Mookie because he has the best separation out of any of those guys, you know?
That's what I'm saying, bro. Yeah. Speaking of separation, bro, there was a separation on multi-facets from one of the videos that went viral this week. There was a slow motion video of a pitcher separating his his lunch on the mound while he was creating hip shoulder separation. Did you get a
Oh
chance to
yeah,
see
I
that one?
saw that. I saw that.
Bro,
Dude.
like, all right, so I just have to say, like, I was gonna do a full breakdown of this, but like I put it on my story and like I got so much hate of people being like, thanks, now I can't have lunch. But like that was such good mechanically, and the fact that he was able to actually stay in the game the whole time was awesome, bro. Like, what have you ever had a moment in your career where you were puking and had to keep going?
In the outfield a few times. I had so my 8th grade year, I was homeschooled and I was playing up with the varsity team.
Mhm.
And I had like the flu. Yeah, it was my Michael Jordan flu game. It was. I kind of balled out that game. But anyway, okay. I was in right field and I literally puked, like straight up puked. And I want to say like 2 pitches later, a ball was hit right at me.
Mhm.
And that was like, wow, like I'm really doing this. But yeah, I've done that before. I will say, dude, I don't know what it is, but like whenever I've noticed this with a lot of people, whenever they're injured or hurt, they tend to play better. And I think it's because they lose the concept of fear or they forget about failure. Like they're okay with it because like, oh, they might have like a built-in excuse or something, but like they're okay with failure and they're not afraid to do it. So I think that has something to do with like performances being ticked up while being injured or sick. Might sound crazy, but that's a jink theory for you.
No, the jank theory is 100% like on par with my theory as well. I'm a huge fan of just like shutting the brain off, and there's
Mhm.
no better way of shutting the brain off than focusing on something that is outside of your control, like being sick or hurting, or like for me, I had like a blister on my pinky on one of the best games I ever pitched, and
Mhm.
all I was focusing on is like trying to throw my changeup more so that it would pop. It was like a blood blister, so I just like threw a ton of changeups, and finally popped in like the 8th inning, and then I had a chance to reflect, and I was throwing a no hitter, and I'm like, oh shoot, and then I gave up a hit the next inning. I was like,
That's why this game sucks, dude. It's because like the things that you try really hard to do, you're not going to do them well. You know?
yep,
It's crazy. It's like the most oxymoronical thing ever.
yeah, no, for
Is
sure,
that a
man.
word? Was that a word?
I think it's oxymoronic, but
Moronic?
I
Hey,
mean,
we're
you're
making
talking
up
to the
words.
guy who was saying ricocheted for most of his life, so I could be wrong on that one. We'll have Kate next time she's around
Yeah.
correct us, because she for sure like is gonna write it on her whiteboard and critique that for you, bro. Bro, I'm just getting flashback vibes from that other video that was posted. Did you see the Salvi and the Tariq video that they posted where Tariq I think I'm saying that wrong now. Now you got me like double guessing. It's Tarik, Tariq.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Tariq. Okay. So basically he struck out Salvi, and Salvi was like, "Hey, good pitch, good pitch. You strike me out all the time, bro." Like I feel like if I ever struck you out, that's exactly how it would go.
See, that's what I would think, and that's what I like to think in this moment. But through spending time with you and being on this show, I've realized that you're not the same guy on the mound. You're kind of a psychopath.
A little bit. I don't know if I'm Joe Cali status, but
Yeah,
definitely a little bit psycho.
yeah. So like it really just depends on what kind of energy you're giving me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, if I'm
I'll
giving you
reciprocate it.
positive vibes, you'll match the vibes.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I get it, man. Yeah. All right, so I used to like almost look down on my own psychopathness. Also not a word, but I used I used to look out I used to look down on myself, but now that I'm reading that the mental ABCs of pitching, bro, like I realized like how many things I did good mentally without even realizing it. Like just like I was a super aggressive pitcher. There's this one quote, and probably my favorite quote of the book that's going to keep me reading the whole thing, but it said yeah, if my mom stepped into the box and was digging in, I would hit her too. Like, like that was me, bro. I literally threw at one of my own teammates in college because he asked his girlfriend he asked his prospective girlfriend to go on a date with him if he hit a home run off me. So he stepped in, and it was just an inner squad, and I literally threw at his back and put him on his butt, bro, because he was digging in. I'm like, I know you're my 4-hole hitter, but don't freaking show me up like that.
Yeah, exactly.
That was just me. If it was my mom, same thing. Sorry, mom.
It's the life of a competitor, bro. You transform when you're on the field. That's how it has to be.
That's it, man. I love it. Bro, like what's it called? Salvi was or sorry, not Salvi. Salvi's his good pitch, like that thing, bro. That brought me back to such crazy vibes from pro ball, man. Like his just like the good pitch, you're a good pitcher. Like I had so many teammates like that. One of them it was David Ortiz's nephew. So
Mm,
it was Kelvin, Kelv. He kind of had a little bit of a lisp, but he was always like just chirping me like on the
mhm.
positive. He was like my biggest cheerleader, man. I loved playing with that guy.
Yeah.
He had never seen a sinker before, so I threw him only sinkers. And the dude was like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what to do with it. I'm swinging over the top of it every single time. But
You know, same your model.
dude, literally no English. And we like just like got each other through like body language, man. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Speaking of a lisp, and we're just going off on crazy tangents now. But Bobby, I don't know if I told you this, but it's crazy that I'm on this talk show right now because I had a lisp and a stutter growing up, like struggle talking, and so it's like now I'm doing this. It's pretty cool.
I was making a story video recently, and I kind of didn't allude to it completely, but I same thing, like crazy speech impediment, bro. And I had like such a fear of being on camera
Hmm.
because I had just like self-esteem stuff, bro. I was homeschooled growing up. I had no idea that I had like um I had some like dyslexia stuff going on and some like crazy learning disability stuff, but I also like didn't talk to people that didn't like know me personally. So I never
Hmm.
had anyone giving me that reinforcement of like, bro, you're weird. Why are you doing that? Like that's a positive thing. Like that's
It
what
is.
peers are for, to kind of hold you accountable to things. So I went into high school thinking everything was great, and then I got ripped. And I was like, oh, okay, I gotta make an adjustment. And I got like all introverted from that. But yeah, man, dude, seriously, like you and me, same boat, bro. Like just having to overcome adversity in the
Yeah.
in the weirdest areas.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does make you stronger though, bro. Like if you do struggle with that, like coming out of that adversity, it's so much more rewarding because you can impact so many more lives and so many people relate to that.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, imagine if you never got on camera and started helping people out. Like imagine how many kids' lives that you've changed just because you got over your own fears, started talking on camera, and now you're changing lives all around the world.
It's
You know?
insane, man. I never like, not to like push numbers or anything, but never in a million years did I think like 300,000 people were watching my stuff and like committing to like hit the follow button and
Hmm.
push like push that continue button, bro. Like that's insane. And I'm like not there yet, but I'm like almost there, and it just blows my mind, man.
Yeah.
I thought like 500 people wouldn't even want to hear what I had to say, but as soon as I got out of my own way and I stopped being selfish, because
Yeah.
I think like holding back due to like I don't know, holding back due to like insecurity issues is the most selfish thing you could possibly be.
Yes. Yeah. And people don't really realize it because they only look at it from like one point of view, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah. I totally
Yeah,
agree.
total tangent still, but like the number one thing that helped me overcome that, bro, was just realizing that not everyone cares. Like not everyone is like thinking about you when you're doing the weird thing. Like they're reflecting
Hmm.
their own perspective while watching you, and they're like, oh wow, is that how I look?
Hmm.
Like, so
Yeah.
I started just owning it, bro. Like I'm weird, I'm awkward, I say all the time, and I just started owning it, and I started just not caring, and so many people just like flocked to me just because I was just me, and I
Yeah,
just
man.
started being uniquely me, and people got attracted to it.
Yeah. The thing that holds everybody back is themselves, man. They put limits on themselves. And we are such on a tangent right now, but I have one little thing I want to say. Okay. So I learned this when I was working out. So whenever I'd go to the gym and let's say I'd be on the bench and I had like 225 on, I said, I'm okay. I put a number in my head. I'm gonna do it 15 times. Okay. Well, I start to tire out right around like 13, 14, and I hit my 15. But I noticed that whatever goal I set for myself mentally, my body naturally like saved enough gas to get there, no matter like how extreme, not like too extreme, but like whatever number I would set. So what I realized is like, okay, by me ever putting like a limitation or like a number on the things I do, I'm actually limiting my ability to do that thing. So like
Mm.
what I just started doing was I stopped putting limits on myself and just started seeing how far I could go. Or if I did put a limit, I'd put the limit so absurdly high that like I'd shoot for the stars and land on the moon.
Mm.
Complete tangent, but like that has helped me so much in my life.
Yeah, man. And you've had to overcome some craziness because of like the limits that you're pushing yourself to. And it's such a thing to aspire to be more like. And I'm not trying to like glaze on you or anything, but like, bro, like you're out there chasing, bro, and I love it. I love every ounce of everything you're doing, man. It's
Thank you, man.
you're crushing it, and you're just aspiring people, bro. We've had some cool opportunities to interview some cool people, but like just getting to sit here and listen to all the stuff you got going on every week, man, it's a pleasure.
I appreciate that, dude.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Enough glazing on you, bro. All
that.
right.
Yeah, we just can't glaze each other this whole time, man.
I'm gonna glaze Aroldis for a second because he threw 105 and it fired me up. So I'm gonna ask you: did you obviously you saw Aroldis Chapman throw 105, and then you
Mhm.
saw Ben Joyce throw 105? Which one was better in your opinion?
Aroldis.
Yeah. What? All right. I want to hear the throwing or the hitting guy's perspective on why Aroldis was better.
Well, I just think for the purpose of like the moment, it was better because Aroldis did it 15 years ago, right? Was
Yeah.
that that's how long ago it was, you know? And Ben Joyce was like in what middle school, probably. I don't know. So like I'm just saying that it's more impressive because Aroldis is so much older and he's still performing at that level, you know. Um, so yeah, but outside of that, like I think the pitch speeds on both of them are like 104.7.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
like 104.6, 104.7. It
yeah.
was something like that. But
Did you see the look on what's his name's face when Aroldis threw it? Who was it? Was it Machado?
oh yeah. Machado was just like dumbfounded that it
Yeah,
even got there, bro. Did you?
just
All right, so you
got
saw
him.
this. Did you see the slow mo like zoom in of Aroldis's face after he threw it?
Yeah,
Dude, the smirk, bro. The smirk. I was just like, he knew that he owned that moment, and I
yeah.
think I think the cool part about that was Ben Joyce kind of had a similar reaction where he
Mhm,
like he did like that weird sumo squat thing, but
mhm.
both those guys knew they were like making history when they did it, bro. It
Yeah.
fired me up.
Dude, imagine throwing a baseball that hard.
I mean, I'm never gonna do it, but you might. So
Dude, my first car didn't go that fast.
I've never owned a car that went that fast, bro. I pushed my limits a couple times and almost got freaking in a lot of trouble, but never got that fast.
Oh man, that's
Yeah,
nuts.
dude, I gotta pull up a side by side that I put together of this. So let me pull this up really quick. So we got to roll this.
Mhm.
We got Ben Joyce. I'm going to show you why I like Aroldis's delivery better. So right out of the gate, we got Aroldis down here with his hand position, and then up here we got Ben Joyce. And just watch this initial movement, bro. You see how Aroldis kind of stays patient. We talked about like the
Yes.
timing aspect of like not rushing ahead of things. So Ben Joyce, he kind of rushes his hand up into this window here, and then Aroldis kind of lets things develop. So if we're talking about like longevity of careers and we're talking about like lasting for this long and throwing this hard for this long, Aroldis, in my book, takes the trophy just because it's so much more efficient and so much more on the kinetic chain, like sequencing wise, it's just so much better for you. But
Yeah.
I will say that that Ben Joyce has improved tremendously since 2022. I just posted a video about it, and he's getting less ball dominant, which is firing me up because the better he gets at that, I just seen it like the course of 10 years, like a lot of athletes who evolve over 10 years, like guys like Nolan Ryan and Joe Kelly and guys who just like are really good hard throwers. Those guys, they, as they get older, they gradually evolve and improve to become more efficient. And I can see Ben Joyce kind of making those adjustments. So it fires me up.
Do you think that so for a guy like him, he's probably not going to throw any harder, but he'll probably throw just as hard longer?
Yeah. So I agree.
With
And
those
maybe,
efficient mechanics,
we get a mile per hour more. Maybe, I mean, the balls or the baseballs could change a little bit to increase spin or something like that. But the things that I was looking at when I was doing the research were his accuracy has improved slightly. So his command issues that were previously there prior to having that setback that he had have evolved. And I read an article that said that he's like really working on like being patient, getting into those windows more so than he was before. So in terms of like velocity, maybe not, but definitely accuracy and command and hopefully arm health, man. Like that's my biggest concern with anyone who has like unnecessary movements that can be avoided while still getting your max potential. I always am leery of that. So for me with Ben Joyce, like I love the way his body moves. He just was kind of doing too much when he was younger. And I think if he got on, he would honestly say like, yeah, I was just trying to throw the heck out of the ball and throw it by guys. But now with a mild setback, I think he's starting to understand like, okay, I should probably do this a little more efficiently. And and I'm sure you've gone through those phases too, where you stop trying to just hit the crap out of the ball and unnecessarily move your body. But
dude, I'll say this, bro. Every time I've tried to hit a home run, I've never done it. Every time I like sell out for contact, I crush the ball, dude. It's crazy. I like my highest exit velos are like, okay, I'm gonna think ground ball to second base, but that's the nature of baseball. It's like it's like just like we were talking about earlier, the things that you intend to do, the things that you really try really hard to do, aren't going to happen because you're trying to force them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it was with me. Definitely had to rework some of that stuff. What I think is crazy is that these guys are like, they're younger and they're better athletes. They're more explosive. Like, why do we even have a creature like Ben Joyce existing right now who doesn't have efficient mechanics and throws just as hard as the hardest flame ball thrower ever?
Yeah.
Like,
I will clarify. He has very efficient mechanics with an unnecessary like hitch in his arm path. So yeah,
gotcha.
I do want to say that he's extremely elite with his movement patterns. It's just that tiny little thing, that one thing that could take his competitive edge to an even crazier height.
Yeah.
He is the 1% of the 1% that can get away with it, but at what cost?
Exactly.
Yeah. Dude, we went on so many tangents, and I had such a blast going through them. But I think we're over on our time, man. Do you got any like closing thoughts for the hitters out there that are watching?
I usually have something good for you guys. Let's see. Don't fail the same way twice. It's insanity. Don't fail the same way more than twice. If it happens twice, because you're sticking with your approach, I get it. But more than 2 times, switch something up, guys.
Yep. Yeah. Once is a mistake, twice is a habit or pattern, and 3 times is a habit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said that wrong. My stuttering.
We're saying everything wrong today. Hey, but they get it. They know what we're talking about.
Yes, sir. All right, we're going to do a quick bicep comparison, and then we're going to sign off.
All right.
Ready?
All right, you ready?
I don't got it, bro. All right, guys. Well, we'll catch you guys next week. Kate should be back in town, so hopefully we'll have some of those reviews coming in for you as well.
Yeah, and we'll stay on topic.
It's probably not. All right. Later, guys.
Later.